Hi, I'm Ann Mickle.
And I'm Alan Bass of Mickle Bass, and we're here today with our law partner, Andrea Roche. Andrea and her husband, Jimmy, were recently named Adoptive Parents of the Year for Region 2 in South Carolina by the Department of Social Services. Andrea, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And along with the congratulations, we're so very proud of you, of the family. We'd also like you to tell our audience here a little bit about the adoptive process and what that entails, and what your recommendations are in that regard.
All right. When my husband and I first started out, we weren't able to have children on our own, so we decided we would try to adopt. Obviously, there are a lot of different ways to do it. You can go overseas, you can do private adoptions, but we thought about it and prayed about it and knew that, you know, there are a lot of children here in social services that need homes and need to be adopted. So DSS makes it very easy. It doesn't cost you anything. You sign up with them and you go through foster parent training, and then you wait for a while before they find a match. And you tell them sort of age ranges, that type of thing, of children that you'd be willing to adopt. And it's a long process, and you don't get called right away. And my husband and I went to one of the little get-togethers they have, where they come with pictures of children, and we saw a large group of 9 boys, and we got involved with this family and ended up adopting 2 of the boys, and also another one lived with us for 2 years, and now he's in college. So we had 3 in the house, adopted 2 of them. So my sons now are 13 and 16, and we got them when they were 9 and 13. It's been a long process, and there are ups and downs and bumps along the way, but it's been a remarkable process, and it's been very, very fulfilling for both my husband and me. We're very proud of our boys. They've come a long way, and DSS makes everything, as far as that is concerned, very smooth. Once the children are in place with you, like I said, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for home studies. You don't have to pay for the adoption process. You do foster for a period of time. They're put in your home as an adoption placement, and you foster. And I would like to say out there, actually, as far as fostering is concerned, South Carolina is in desperate need right now for good foster families, foster parents. They are short 1,300 foster families in this state right now. Wow. There are so many children out there in DSS custody that need somebody, that need a place to go. So please, if you've ever had an inkling about fostering children, call DSS right now, and they'll make it, hopefully will make it easy for you. But it is a giant, giant need in this state right now.
Now, hold on for 1 second, just to educate our audience. Now, you've talked about foster parents versus actual adoptive parents. Now, define foster parents, please.
A foster parent takes the children in and keeps them and loves them and takes care of them for a period of time. Now, you do get a stipend to help you take care of the children, and some foster parents are also adoptive placement. So, and sometimes foster parents take the children in with no intentions of adopting and then fall in love with them and end up adopting the children. Many children, though, it's a temporary placement. They come in, they stay, and then they're reunited either with their parents once things have straightened out, or they go into an adoption placement. So foster parents, a really good foster family, will foster lots of children over the years who hopefully either return to their families or get into adoption placement. Now, as an adoption placement foster family, which is what we were, we didn't foster separately from the adoption placement. So we went in, we did have to go through the foster parent training, which was very interesting and enlightening. And once we did that, we were able to get our adoption placement children, but we were technically their foster parents until the adoptions were final.
That is excellent. Now, I've heard of something. I used to do a little bit of family law. Tell me a little bit about the biological parents and their involvement. There's TPR, what is that?
That's the termination of parental rights. When you have children that you're wanting to adopt, and you can let DSS know what kind of stomach you have for or where they are in the legal proceedings. You can say, I only want children that are absolutely free for adoption. But there's so many of them out there caught up in the system right now that we were fine with going ahead and taking our boys in, even though at the time they were not legally free to be adopted because the TPR had not been completed. So we had to wait a while for that to occur. But once the parental rights were terminated from both the mother and the father, they were free to be adopted at that point, and then we adopted them. It was important for us because our children were older. They had a lot of siblings, and a lot of their siblings got adopted as well. We've stayed in close contact with the other families and even with their mother because they love her very much, and she loves them too. It was unfortunate that they couldn't continue to live with her, so it's been important to us to keep them united as a family. That's not necessary. You can completely do it the other way. If you want to have nothing to do with the biological family, you can do it that way as well. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you can handle things. So once the termination of parental rights was finished, we moved forward with the adoption process. It was a short hearing in front of a judge, and we got new birth certificates that say that we are their parents.
That's excellent. Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Now, again, we're educating our audience through our partners' experience. Now, I think there are public adoptions through public agencies and then private adoptions. Which was this now?
This was a public adoption.
Okay.
Through DSS. And that's the one I only have experience with. We looked into some, you can go overseas, obviously, and we did look into some private agencies, which I'm sure are doing wonderful work. It just was right after prayerfully considering all of our options for my husband and me to do it through the DSS system, because we know how many kids there are right here in South Carolina that need homes.
I don't know if you have this information available right now, but if there's anyone in our viewing audience that's interested in adopting and going through DSS, how would they initiate that process?
It's very simple. You can just get on, if you get on the website, DSS website, you can type into Google DSS and adopt in South Carolina. It's going to pull you up exactly where you do, and you just sign up, and there's foster family training all the time. You put together a book eventually once you become accepted as an adoptive family, and you put together a sort of a portfolio of photographs and things about you and all of that. And then eventually when the children, when there is a possibility of an adoption placement, we had to send photo books to the kids so they could get to know sort of who we were. And it's funny thinking now how much I know my children 3 years later. I didn't know them then, and I was sending them to people that I didn't know. And what struck them, some of the things that they remembered later on, we laugh about it now. You know, that I had written in there that we like to go to the beach even in the winter. Well, you know, my youngest child remembered that and remembered the pictures from that, and so he still laughs about that to this day.
Excellent.
But once a child has been identified that may be an adoption placement for you, you spend time outside. You spend time with them first. They don't come to your house right away unless they're very young. The infants, obviously, there's no way to get to know you. They place them in your house. But with the older children, you spend some time with them first, and then they come to live with you. And then eventually, depending on where they are in the legal system, then they're free to be adopted.
Well, for anyone out there in our viewing audience who has a real interest in the adoption process but has some hesitancy, what kind of advice would you give them?
One advice I would give, if you really want to do it and do it through DSS, once you have there's a family caseworker that will be assigned to your family. Stay on that caseworker like crazy. The squeaky wheel gets the grease in the system, I think. And so if you stay on them, call them, I think there's an increased chance that you'll be picked as a placement. But otherwise, you have to have a lot of patience. I certainly would recommend doing it through DSS. I don't think I would have been happy doing it any other way, even though I'm sure other folks are doing good work. But it was, we had a lot of really good caseworkers and a lot of folks that were there that were willing to help us, and it was much appreciated.
Excellent. Anna?
Andrea, we're proud of you and Jimmy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you
very
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And we thank you for joining us. We're so very proud of Andrea and her family, and we'll look forward to speaking with you the next time.
See you.